Hi Lily. I've got some books to read for you. I've got Room on the Broom and another one you haven't heard called The Snail and the Whale. I'll read The Snail and the Whale first. This is a tale of a tiny snail and a great big grey blue humpback whale. This is a rock as black as soot, and this is a snail with an itchy foot. The sea snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. And as she gazed, she sniffed and sighed. The sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail, said the tiny snail. And there is the world that the snail lives in at the bay. And there's the rock and the other little snails. These are the other snails in the flock, who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock. There they are. And said to the snail with the itchy foot, "Be quiet, don't wriggle, sit still, stay put." But the tiny sea snail sighed and sniffed, then cried, "I've got it, I'll hitch a lift." This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail that looped and curled and said, it's the snail trail. It said, "Lift wanted around the world." That's what he wrote with his snot. This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright. A humpback whale, immensely long, who sang to the snail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves. There's the whale coming to here at night. And this is the tail of the humpback whale. He held it out of the starlit sea and said to the snail, "Come, snail, with me." And there's the snail getting on the tail. This is the sea, so wild and free, that carried the whale and the snail on his tail to towering icebergs and far off lands. Wow. It's gone to the Antarctica with the ice. And there is the snail on the tail. Excuse me. With fiery mountains and golden sands. Now they're in the tropics. There's some dolphins there. And there's a volcano. Boom. And a monkey in a tree. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. There he is, a big wave and a little snail getting splashed. These are the caves beneath the waves, where stripy fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins swam round the whale and the snail on his tail. There are the sharks. And there's the snail on the whale's tail. Sharks and stripy fish and octopus. This is the sky, so vast and high, sometimes sunny and blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm, with zigzag lightning flashing and frightening the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. Then the tropics and the lovely nice weather, and then it's raining and snowing, and there's the lightning cracking down on them. Oh, I wouldn't want to be out there. And she gazed at the sky, the sea, the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand. She gazed and gazed, amazed by it all. And she said to the whale, I feel so small. She's in America now, the bear and the eagle and the beautiful mountains. It's beautiful there. But then came the day the whale lost his way. These are the speedboats running a race, zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar, making him swim too close to the shore. There they are, the naughty people riding around, making a big noise. And this is the tide slipping away. Uh-oh, he's in trouble. He can't get away. And this is the whale lying beached in a bay. Quick, off the sand, back to the sea, cried the snail. I can't move on land, I'm too big, moaned the whale. The snail felt helpless and terribly small. Then, I've got it, she cried, and started to crawl. I must not fail, said the tiny snail. There's this whale on the beach. And the snail is going, it's got an idea. Oh, there's the snail, sorry. There's the snail. He's got an idea to help him. This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. There's the bell. This is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, sit straight, don't talk. This is the board as black as soot. And this is a snail with the itchy foot. A snail, the teacher turns pale. Look, say the children, it's leaving a trail. Save the whale, it says. This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail saying, save the whale. These are the children running from school, fetching the firemen, digging a pool so that the whale can swim, squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. They're all helping him. This is the tide coming into the bay, and these are the villagers shouting hooray as the whale and the snail travel safely away. That's the tide coming in, and there's the people saying yay, and these whales going away, and the snail is on his tail again. Back to the dock and the flock on the rock, he said, how time's flown, and haven't you grown? And the whale and the snail told their wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves, and of how the snail, so small and frail, with a looping, curling, silvery trail, saved the life of the humpback whale. Then the humpback whale held out his tail, and on crawled snail after snail after snail. It's him telling the story on the rock to his friends and family. And they're all getting on. They're all going to go for a ride now. That'll be fun. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tip of the grey blue humpback whale. And they're all going around the world. And now I'll stop this and I'll get you another video to watch. Bye!